Hello, this is the Watchdog, and welcome back to Fun with Watches. If watches weren't fun, you'd only need one. Today we're going to review the Cadisen C9058. And some people might think this is an homage to an AP Royal Oak. I don't really agree though. I think it's more inspired by Royal Oak because it has the octagon bezel, but that's about it. Let's start out with the wrist check. I'm wearing a Benyar BY1659, homage to the Rolex Daytona. And Grover's wearing a Blige 8935. If it's an homage to Richard Mille or not, I'm not sure. I haven't looked up all the different models of Richard Milles. Grover was in an accident in a land speeder, and he was pinned in the wreckage and he couldn't get out. Fortunately, some Jawas started the land speeder incident field emergency team, and Grover was rescued by the Jawas of life. Okay, here's the watch. This watch was in the what I call the ultra affordable range, meaning it was less than $20. And it arrived within 3 weeks from AliExpress, which is pretty good time for AliExpress because there is nothing express from AliExpress. In their defense, though, most of this stuff is coming from China, shipped on a big cargo container, so you can't expect that to be overnighted. And once again, this might be easy to dismiss this as just another AP homage. But if you look at it closely, though, yeah, it's got the octagon bezel. But other than that, there's not that many more similarities, other than maybe the fact that it has an integrated strap. But there are no APs with their version of an oyster flex. So it's either going to have a bracelet or a leather strap. And it doesn't have the waffle pattern of an AP Royal Oak. And it doesn't have the hexagon crown. It just, once again, it's only the bezel that makes it look similar. Cadisen does make an homage to the Royal Oak, which is a lot more closer looking to the actual AP. And it's an automatic. But since this is a chronograph, this is a quartz model. There's no such thing as a cheap automatic chronograph. If you're going to get an automatic chronograph, you're going to spend at least almost $1,000, and that's just not doable. That's why it's quartz. Even a mechanical chronograph is going to cost you well over $100. There are two other colorways besides this blue. There was a rose gold with a black strap, and then there was the all black. I chose the blue. I just kind of like the color. I think there was a good contrast between the steel and the chrome and the blue. This is a big watch, and it's got some heft to it. I think it's solidly built. The watch is 44 millimeters at the bezel, 53.4 millimeters lug to lug, 12 millimeters high, and has a 24 millimeter lug width. Although this is an integrated strap, you'll not be changing straps, so you don't have to bother about looking for a 24 millimeter strap. And it weighs 105 grams, which is some pretty decent heft for a watch with a silicone strap. The specifications on the AliExpress site says that the case is alloy. But obviously this bezel, though, must be stainless steel because look at the brushwork. You're not going to be brushing chrome-plated alloy. Plus, if you look at here, right here where that looks like it's brushed also. So I have a feeling that this case is not one piece. I have a feeling that this middle is stainless steel, but maybe the edges are alloy. And it's all kind of screwed together. Also, if you look at the screws in the bezel, instead of slotted screws like a normal AP, this one has hex screws. I mean, that you would use an Allen wrench to unscrew. The dial has a blue texture in the middle, so it doesn't have the waffle pattern of an AP. And it has a nice sunburst effect in the subdials. Even though that the middle of the dial is flat, the subdials have the sunburst effect. Then it has a nice chapter ring with the minute markers. It has applied indices, and the Cadisen logo is printed on. And there's no depth rating or anything. It says it's just water resistant. And it doesn't even say that on the watch. It just says it on the specifications on the website. I'm assuming that just means your basic 30 meters water resistance. The date window is between the 4 and the 5, like your typical chronograph. It would have been nice if they had a blue background with white text. I always prefer that if the date isn't taking the place of an index. But once again, this is a watch under $20, so that's kind of asking a lot. It has a mineral glass crystal. The spec says Hardlex, but I doubt that it's really Hardlex, just some kind of hardened glass. And it's got fully loomed sword hands, but the second hand isn't loomed. The second hand, as you can see, is the big second hand, not the subdial second hand. And the stopwatch second hand is the bottom subdial. And as you can see, it got out of alignment, but you can set that. Let me go ahead and set that real quick. If your second hand gets out of a line, just go ahead and pull the crown all the way out. And then you can press the bottom pusher and it moves the hand up 1 second. There, see, it's in line now. And then just go ahead and push the crown back. This is not a screw-in crown. And then to use the stopwatch, it's just your basic press the first pusher. The stopwatch starts ticking. Press the first pusher again, it stops. And the bottom one resets it. The pusher action isn't very good. There's no audible clicks, no clicks you can feel. You can barely feel the pushers move at all. So it's not good action at all. When it comes to chronographs, I prefer the big second hand to be the stopwatch, but at least this watch doesn't have a tachymeter. That's one of my big pet peeves, if the watch has a tachymeter, but the big second hand is not the stopwatch, because that makes the tachymeter completely useless. So it says that the case is a chrome-plated alloy. And once again, I think it's the edges, and I think the middle is actual steel, because you can see the brushwork there. So I think the case comes in 3 different pieces and the case back, and I think it's all screwed together. The case back has this nice little gear pattern on it that looks pretty cool. And as you can see, it's held on with screws, Phillip head screws. So at least it's not the hex screws of the bezel. I did not take the case back off to look at the movement. I just didn't want to remove 8 different little screws. Once again, the strap is clearly integrated. I saw these little screws here on the end, and I thought, well, maybe I can unscrew these and I can replace the strap. So I unscrewed one of them, or the bar that's held on with the screws, it goes inside of the case. So even if you remove the screws, you can't remove the bar. So I have a feeling that you'd have to remove all 4 screws and take the case back, and then take the watch completely apart to take the bar out to replace the strap. So do not buy this watch with the idea that you can just put it on any old strap, because you cannot. You are basically stuck with the strap it comes on. The strap is very thick silicone, and it's a nice feeling silicone. Some silicone feels really slick, like it's almost wet, but this one has more of a rubbery feel to it. So I like it. I would prefer vulcanized rubber, of course, because that just feels so much better and more sturdier. But I like this silicone strap. I've definitely had a lot worse. Then it has a sign brush buckle. See, there's the Cadisen right there. Here's the watch at my 7.5-inch wrist. It's a big watch, but at least it has the little, where the lugs are, it goes down, so it wraps around your wrist kind of nice. So I think you'd be fine with at least a 7-inch wrist. I think if you had much smaller, though, this watch might be a little big for you. As you can see, I'm using the middle notch. So if you had an 8-inch wrist or 8.5-inch wrist, you could wear this thing still. Here we are in the loom room, so let's go ahead and charge her up. Once again, I say this every time, but my camera is not good enough to show you loom without charging the watch first. So It would probably be better to do a side-by-side comparison with another watch, but I figure you're not expecting great lume for a watch under $20, so why bother? Alright, there's the lume. As you can see, it's not awesome. It looks like the dots glow a lot more than the 3, 6, 9, and 12 o'clock indices. The hands look, at least the hands look like they're pretty good. And the subdial hands do glow, although very little. So there is some lume on the subdial hands. So the lume's okay. It's not great. It's not awful, but it's sub $20 watch lume. What do I like about this watch? Well, I like the physical appearance. I think the blue and the steel and the chrome go together very well. It's a nice color. I like the fact that the build seems very solid for a sub $20 watch. It's got some good heft to it. Doesn't feel cheap. And I like the fact that the second hand hits all the marks. So if you have that second hand OCD, this one hits every minute marker right on the spot. And I think it fits very nice for a big watch. So if you like a big watch, this one's, and don't have a huge wrist, this one will fit you very well. What are my gripes and groans? Well, the pusher action is really bad. You go to start the chronograph and you can barely feel the pusher move. Plus, I've had there's a lot of times where you press the pusher and it won't even do anything, so you have to press it again. And sometimes the second hand will get out of a line, but you can adjust it. The lume is only so-so. It's not horrible, but it's not great. And I kind of wish that they would have took advantage of these screws here and made it so you could change the strap. But that would have been nice. Put it on a good, nice blue leather strap and it'll give it a little bit more class, more like a dress watch. Do I recommend this watch? Yes, I do. For under $20, this is a very impressive watch. So, if you like the looks of this watch, and you're not sure of it just because of the price, go ahead and buy it. I don't think you'll be disappointed. Now, if you don't like the looks of it, I don't know if there's enough about this watch to warm you over. So if you like what it looks like, get the watch. If you really don't like it, if it doesn't push your buttons, then I do not recommend it. But I like it. I like the looks of it, and I recommend this watch for me. Okay, well, thank you for watching my review, and I'll be back later with either another unboxing or another review. Be sure and like and subscribe to my channel. I guess I should say that at the beginning of the video, because if you look at the viewing habits, it looks like a lot of people don't even get to the end of my videos. Bye.